Great Risings, Grand Day. Hey, hello, hello, YouTube family, and anyone else that sees this video. So how's everybody feeling? I mean, what the heck? We've had all the things, as one of my friends says, going on energetically, planetarily. So on the 9-day calendar today, which is a Friday, the 21st, is Venus. Oh, so is it a double Venus day? It is. Oops. I saw the roof of my car. Did I bring it? I thought I brought it. Gosh darn, I do this. Well, I did a video yesterday. And yesterday was Mercury, and I was saying, talk to Mercury about what you might need to retrospect. So, I'm going to talk about a lot of things as fast as I can. So, the planets and the energies going on. So it is a double Venus day. Interesting. Double Venus day. And I say that because on the Gregorian calendar, it's Friday, which represents Venus. And then on the 9-day calendar, it's Venus. We're 3 days in to the new month. Yesterday was a new moon. Also, there was an eclipse yesterday. Technically, it was the night before, on the 19th. Or early morning if you were on the East Coast or anywhere on that side of the world. We had 2 new moons. And Mercury Retro. And then what's going on with Saturn, but mostly the eclipse. Good grief, the eclipse. So personally, energetically for each individual, what you've been shadowing. So we've also been, like, we talk about the Mercury retrograde shadow, and so it's interesting because apparently everything has a shadow, just like us. And the shadow energy of the last few years, depending on where you're at as far as how you see things, like a lot of people were activated after 2012. That would have been what we consider the shadow of the Aquarian age. We're coming into it. Actually, it probably started in the 50s. Obviously, and then the 60s, like with the whole song Age of Aquarius. So we were stepping into the shadow, and now we're actually entering like the full energies of this new apocalypse, meaning the lifting of the veil. And my theory is, and it has been since 2012, it's the rising of the Great Mother, the Great Divine, the great female energy, the goddess reminders, the Sibyls, the prophetesses awakening, and within the earth and within the beings. And so let's talk about some things now. I'm going to ripple a little bit into the future past, so to speak. Giant trees and the environment, how it used to be. Things that we talked about and we've kind of skipped over. That's what this video is going to be about. Things we've talked about, but then kind of skipped over because we got sucked into a whole bunch of other things that took us away from certain things. So, giant trees, giant mushrooms, and the connection to tree and earth. Okay. The more time goes by and the more I learn about trees and this planet, I think there is more of a possibility and the saying, like, the tree of life. We don't say, so why do we say the tree of life? Even when we look at the DNA strand, it kind of looks like a ladder, right? So Or if it was in time, from far away, it would look just like our veins, which look like roots, our skin, which look like bark, how our hair grows, and how even after, like, if our bodies are preserved correctly, even after we die, our body continues growing. And not our body, but our hair and our nails. So what is like that? What is most like that? Trees. Trees. So it's just something to think about. And how we're still, like, the main is starting to talk about more things. And even social media, we're starting to talk about more things, more mysterious things, and ancient knowledges, remembering. So, yeah, the trees, giant trees. And there's a link between today and yesterday, and that reminder, and stone in general. And interestingly, I don't have it with me, but I'll take a picture, I'll post it in my community. My mom has a piece of petrified wood that definitely has a modern something in it. And I don't know if it's like manufactured, man-made petrified wood, which is that even possible? I feel like it is. I feel like man has figured out a lot of things from nature and their own selves, or women, or folks, human beings. And anyhow, it's either kind of fakey, like manufactured, or more modern, and it looks made to look like petrified wood, or it's actually like proof that we don't really know about petrified wood. How does that happen? How does something become stone so quickly? And I have my theories about a lot of the temples and a lot of these, like, perfect sculptures. I'm wondering, like, if there's some type of petrifying machine out there, or like the Medusa story, even though not Medusa. Yeah, Medusa. Like, are we missing that there's actually a power to turn people to stone? I think there is. Just because some of those pieces are so intricate. I wonder. Or are they projected? And a lot of those temples, I'm talking about a lot of the temples in, I guess it'd be like South Asia, like the, I think Thailand and Cambodia areas. And also the hair. I posted that in the community, and somebody mentioned that about the hair. And so, interestingly, like, that's another thing. Maybe we should do some investigating on that, because that is one of the things that keeps growing after we die. And in so many cultures, there's a hair connection. And if you join my Patreon, I'm going to share some for everybody, and I'm going to make some adjustments there so that there's a lot more access, because anyhow, besides that, going into a type of meditation that really goes into connecting to our bodies, because in most cultures, hair is used as a tool for balance and for feeling like the energies around them. So there's a big hint right there as far as how that meditation will work. So just some curious things. Now we move into what's going on around the world right now. So several things are happening, which is, this energy was known about. Some of this is coming through right now. So this energy, planetary energies, were known about And so the things that have been happening for around the last 5 years, specifically the last 3 years, were on purpose for this energies. And I'm not the only one who said this, but there you go. So we're seeing now that the information about these last few years is the truth is coming out. And what's really interesting is I'm not sure if I did a video on here, but I hope so, because when it all began, I was like, let's just wait 3 years, because that's our pattern, our specific, that is the pattern. The pattern is to keep us engaged in something for about 3 years, and then and this I find very narcissistic and a form of abuse. So then it seems to settle and everything seems to get back to quote unquote normal, and people are feeling comfortable, and then another thing to get everybody focused over here, over there, not in spirituality. And when I say spirituality, I'm just talking about what works for you, in the sense of like connecting to your greater deity, your higher selves, your ancestors, yourself, the planet, the planets, trees, animals. These are things that used to be first. They used to be our first teachings. Not our like, oh, we should be checking this stuff out. No, those were our first teachings. So, that's also what's coming out. And, okay. The weather. If they can do it, we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. Like, we have the power. We have the power over elements. So, let me just give you this. For those who are still skeptical, possibly, about seeding, clouds, and the weather. First of all, the sun is so healing. And it's been... I used to think about this because I grew up in... Gen X is also the last era to like go lay out in the sun on purpose. Do you know how many? This was literally like a ritual, and they used to call it a sunbathing ritual. From like the 50s to the 90s. On the weekend, anytime the sun was out, you go on, you put on your bathing suit, and you wherever there was water. Or you would get one of those little kiddie pools, or you get your hose, and you'd go lay out in the sun. And we used to put baby oil on. Baby oil! Which is basically like really thin petroleum. And we put lemon in our hair to lighten our hair. And then that's when all the skin cancer stuff started coming out. And you might find that interesting that... So going and laying out, so 2 things you're doing. You're absorbing the sun's rays, and you're on the ground. So look at how many people were like stable and balanced, and not that I was stable and balanced, but my body definitely had a healthier rhythm, because also we're the last generation who had weevils in their flour and cereals. And that's when they started putting preservatives in our foods so that foods would last longer, because after a certain amount of time, because things were grown in nature, the bugs that were in there would come to life inside your cereal, your rice, or your oatmeals and stuff like that. Weevils. And let's see, what else? So they're seeding. So the flip side is, okay, so we're coming off of, and they're going to push this global warming thing. And they're going to say global warming, but is anybody noticing that it's getting colder? Longer? That's typically what the earth does, goes into an ice age. So, however, these are also ways to keep us from reaching the next, like, it's like graduating ourselves and the planet to where we are elevated, and we elevate each other, like, naturally. This shift is coming because half of it is people are finding out who they are. Their authentic expression is coming through, and so many truths are coming out. Be aware of some of these truths are also manipulations away from the light, but as laws go, it sounds to me like all laws work out all other laws. So if and I guess just like the law, well, we're learning laws, and that's the other thing. So education, knowledge is being heightened. As more truths come out, of course knowledge is going to be heightened, imagination is going to be heightened, art and creativity are going to be heightened, because it's all part of those energies. So even if we don't all do it together, we can focus on the weather. We've done it before. We did it several years back when California was going through a drought, and it was perfect because people saw rain happening in California. And they imagined like the perfect amount of rain, how it would cool, the grasses and flowers that would show up. And 10 months later, the drought was completely over, and things are going pretty well. So then, people are figuring out that they can control the weather too. So what are we going to do? We're going to start some fires. And we're going to tell everyone they're having a drought. And so what did people do? Then people did. A lot of people did. They pictured rain and specifically, quote unquote, downpours. I didn't. Well, even saying that. But because it's like, if we tell them what we're doing, they can do things to push back. And this is one of them. They've been telling us for about a month that we're going to have sunny weather and it's going to get warmer. And then it's overcast and cloudy. And overcast and cloudy, like the further Pacific Northwest, like low clouds. It is getting warmer, but it's definitely, I mean, I think people can say this across the board, especially in the States. Weather has been weird, and that's no coincidence. It's all, the message I've been getting, it's all part of a mental manipulation. Because they figured out that we're starting to figure out our emotions have been manipulated. So we're all working on our emotions. We're learning things like emotional intelligence, and we're learning about narcissism and gaslighting and all these things that they have been getting away with for a long time, because the general nature and the general mindset is loving and trusting. Definitely a child's. And it's like I know for myself, working through like being an adult child, relearning how to take care of myself and love myself and speak my emotions in the moment rather than shoving them away from patterning from my childhood. And the world is doing this. It's not just me. The world is waking up to this And so we can do these things together in silence, like in randomness, will also help, like without planning it, so to speak. And also definitely continuing our regular, practices, rituals, alchemical learnings. Okay. And then so yeah, there's some things I will repeat. A lot of people already know this stuff, but we will be seeing okay, it's like we'll be, I want to say, okay, big, I already talked about like big dismantling. So the economic system is going through okay. So remember the TDA accounts, Social Security accounts, birth certificate accounts, driver's license accounts, marriage license accounts. Remember all those that everyone was figuring out about 5 years ago? So all that's going to come out. Right? So my theory is this might be the loophole for a lot of the indigenous, the American Indians that have been renamed mulatto, black, African American. This is the underlying truth, right? Because in order to create the TDA accounts, the Social Security accounts, and in these accounts, there has to be a known value to the person. And what are those accounts based on? Typically mineral, water, and land. We are born with value. We are born with an inheritance. And they know this. So they manipulate us out of it. And they do all kinds of things, as we know. The birth certificate, all these things. They do all these things because the truth is we have the power to override all those things by knowing. That's one of the best ways to undo, say, spells or patternings. Like suddenly you're like, oh, I notice I have this pattern. Then you're able to say, oh, no, I don't want to contribute to that pattern anymore. So somewhere in these treaties or in this basically signing over the lands to this corporation, they created value in each person born here, because there must be value in this land. All the land, because this reverberates around the entire world. It isn't just in the USA that there are these accounts that exist. And if you look into it, these accounts are how the major, apparently, families are able to continue buying and purchasing land, corporations, people. So somewhere there's a link between the aboriginals of said lands, the people born there, and their inheritance via some agreement to the land and each person born on that land. So the places where they have really high Social Security and these kind of systems in place, they know something. that's another, there's something in that. And I do think it might go back to the writings of the great Sibyls, because there's a mother-child energy in that, even though it's not. Because if you do look up the TDA accounts, supposedly after 18, you're supposed to be able to apply for your account, and you're supposed to be able to go and apply specifically to get out of debt. That's why they were created in the first place. So there's a link there. There's a link there. Okay. Grounding, but I've been around trees. The Sibyls. So that's an interesting. Okay. Okay. Yes, Sibyl risings, prophetess risings, the feminine divine risings, and the surgence of new healing ways. Oh, okay. So one of the things that I heard last night in talking to one of my friends is that there will be some type of system set up, and I think I said this in another video, and I'm pretty sure I've heard this elsewhere, when it comes to the people affected by things specifically within the last couple years, there's going to be some type of medicine or healthcare, or at least free, like, energy works or cleanses or something like that for those affected by that. And then we're going to see so many lawsuits, and we're going to see a lot of seemingly, well, it will be. We're going to see a lot of people kind of get in trouble for the last couple years, but we're also, it will be woven in with distraction. So just remember that. Okay. Well, oh, and Mercury retrograde. Talk about that real quick. So, okay. She's saying, the best thing at this time is to go into the body. So I'll do a video here, a short video here about this type of meditation. I'm not sure if other people have talked about it. They may have, but I'll share a little bit on here, and then I will post a specific either written and or video guided meditation to help this process of connecting to the body, because this energy is a lot about, but bringing into practice the gifts and magics that each individual has, especially the ones you've been working on for the last few years. You can definitely bring in other things. You might want to wait until the summertime, and then but this is a good time to practice personal alchemy, is what I'm hearing. Okay. So, kind of all over the place as usual, but oh well, that's how it is. That's where it goes. That's how it is. That's where it goes. We'll get rid of let's see. Undoing the spells from those unknown and known. Clearing away the clouds on the dome. Clearing away any darkness in our home. Light language there at the end. All right, until next time, Stay strong. Stay into yourself. Stay grounded. Spiritual warriors, you got this. Until next time.